going through more Lancer lore with the lovely co-host Yuki.
TK.
You might be peeking on your side on that one, but don't go too high pitched on me. Okay, but no, today should be finishing up the. I don't want to say preliminary lore, but basically the lore that'll get us into the current time frame. We ended off roughly at the year 10,000. We introduced an AI super god, but we are going to have to rewind about 1,000 years because I missed a little point on that end.
Also, some AI prophets that preempted the super guide, and then
Well, AI supercomputers who thought it, that's enough in the air. I won't go too deep onto that. But we're gonna rewind it from the year 3000 to the year 1998.
it was a good year.
Yeah, that is a thing on that one. All right. So the one thing we do have to go over here on this point, and I think you actually made a joke about it before. While had been expanding at this point in their collective history, or this would have been back at the era of First Com still, but the very methodical and friendly expansion. Well, one of the 10 colony ships showed up at a system that Union had been actually setting up to colonize. So quite a literally of, hey, we developed this space travel like a couple years after you left. We got here first. It was whoopsies. It didn't much help that it was the Armstrong, this arriving the system of the Boundary World, had developed kind of a navigation cult and were very religious. And they might have threatened to collapse their colony ship into the planet to kill everyone if they weren't given the rights to it.
Wait, did I hear that right? Did you say a navigation cult?
Yes, they worshipped their navigators.
Oh, okay. Navigate okay, worshiping like the either the people or the computers that were doing the navigating, not like the concept of navigation.
No, but okay, weird religious things are gonna pick up here in a second because about a couple years after they colonized the planet, a giant monolith appeared in orbit. Just boop,
Cool.
kind of was it 2000: A Space Odyssey monolith style?
Mm-hmm.
Just popped up in orbit, and people started developing psychic powers and gaining visions.
Awesome.
Now, great. Okay, now this is going to be a little bit thing because this is still around the year 3000. If you remember, Raw popped up in about the year, or this is in the year 2000. Raw popped up in about the year 3000.
You are going to be adding like a timeline overlay when you talk about this, right?
I will have. Yes, I actually have a thing for that. We will be doing that. You will see this on the video, everyone. So the monolith is classified as Monist. I'm probably mispronouncing that. Monist.
Inist.
Monist, I'm guessing. But
MON or MIN?
MONIST.
MON. Okay, got it. Yeah.
Monist
okay,
2.
Yeah, Monist. That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah. Even though Raw is classified as Monist 1 and he popped up 1,000 years later.
Yeah. They started with 2?
Yeah, apparently that's canon. Like I've gone through several references because I was going through this and like, that's not right. And then everyone seems to make it
right.
Yeah, everyone's making a note. It's like, despite being prior to Raw. Okay, so yep, Kaldi, psychic people, really not happy with Union overall, worshipping monolith god. This leads to the Union's well, their first war. I was actually incorrect. It wasn't against the okay. It was also kind of against the trade baronies, but also kind of got into a fight with them. I think they solved the problem of this war.
Um, violent?
Specifically, what type of violence administered how?
Well, my first instinct would probably be some kind of death rays, but under the circumstances, um, you mentioned dropping colony ships earlier, but I think that was somebody else.
That was the people
Um,
they are currently fighting. Said, "Give us this planet, or we kill everybody."
got it. Uh, maybe ramming their own ships into the colony ships?
Um, it's not too bad though. They have colonized this planet. It's been a couple hundred years. They decided to, fight this war. They shoot it.
Sure, of
A
course they do.
like everything I find is a mass kinetic shotgun style strike on all of their planets. You know, very American.
America.
Kablamo! Hippity hoppity, go fuck yourself. Okay, but that basically ended the war a bit. The Union was about to push their advantage, but then the events of Raw, Deimos, and all that stuff happened. See prior video for a breakdown on that one. But that brings us back to the current timeline, and we are all caught up. I'll try not to go back too much or side much into any one particular lore. These are the basics, but unfortunately, they are important for it a little bit, and I needed to make sure we covered them. But all right, Union's on its second committee. They are going good. Raw has been placated. They are no longer, in the fear of Moon God, Moon, ancient Egyptian Moon God of the sun.
Of imminent divine intervention.
Yeah, don't fuck with Raw. Plus side, Raw left around a bunch of little pieces, a bunch of crazy tech, and yeah, every scientist in the Union is kind of like, okay, what's this stuff do? You know, car phasing through all that kind of stuff. But we did mention they were able to make wormholes. Now, the wormholes they were going to go into blink space, a pseudo hyperspace, subspace, pocket dimension space, whatever you want to call it in X sci-fi thing.
Or hammer speed.
Yep. Now, unfortunately, this isn't like a ship can just open this. This does have to be done. This does have to be done through giant rings to travel through.
Mm-hmm.
Which, it's or they were kind of running about. All right, who wants to go through the giant space portal? Now, one of the companies that actually stepped up to this was a starship development company, North Star, or IPSN, later on known as, after a couple corporate mergers. They are able to launch a ship through the gate out to the other side of the gate, meaning they are able to achieve even faster than light travel. Like, they are operating on Stargate logic now.
Mm-hmm.
Which allows the Union to bring up not only their core worlds and other worlds to these gates, but also allows transmissions through them, establishing the OmniNet. Internet in space. I can only imagine what space Twitter's like.
Oh, I'm sure it's awful. The Galgamex.
Oh, don't even. I'm getting DBZA vibes out of this now, but there is actually a space Australia. But we will get back into that later. So, Union, they now have advanced warping technology, crazy AI that can oh, don't give a damn about physics pretty much, and can run entire cities. Basically, you ever wish oh, what would be the streaming, gaming, and all that stuff was up to snuff? Well, it is, and it's all run by one computer on an
Oh, of
entire
course.
planet. That's how much these programs are, as they'll be classified as NHPs, which would be a non-human person. You
Hmm.
know, to differentiate it from standard AI, which that name doesn't imply any creepy nomenclature to it at all. You know, nothing's
Yeah.
going on bad going on here. All right, but with second comes leadership being very. I'm going to be generous and say colonialism centric. Begins the mass exodus. They can now warp travel. Union colonies can now build gates, spanning through, and just the Blink network, everything, infrastructure, just expand, grow, expand, grow. There are literally no limits or holders on what they can do.
No holds barred.
Free real estate for everybody. The other thing
In
this,
space.
yeah. Well, the other thing this allows to do with all of that, you because union scientists are not only given like this crazy AIs that can do anything, but these AIs don't have any limitations on processing power. This is
Oh.
no update to next graphics card. This is you are at max settings at all the time, and your computer shows 0% on any kind of processing requirements.
Well, I mean, they already had, the older computers that were able to replicate all of existence accurately um, at beyond real time speed. So I could see that.
Yep. And, well, to be fair, those computers are crazy hard to manufacture. Like those were like the pinnacle of pinnacle. Even current Union can't really make those easily. Where this is, you can have anything like that. So, in the advancement in technology, one of the styles of technology they really develop into is 3D printing.
I see.
Because with the new blink gates, with the massive amounts of computation, Union doesn't care about resources anymore. There are just such an abundance of everything. It becomes a redundancy, like between drones, automated manufacturing, 3D printing. You don't have to worry about any kind of raw problem.
Mm-hmm.
This
Raw
also,
material issue.
yep, this also turns Union into a, it, I can't say a form of government that doesn't sound bad. I think that just might be government nowadays. But basically, it turns it into a similar style of government to Starfleet,
Mm-hmm.
just colonial, which is going great. I mean, Second Committee has been, a little bit warmongery, a little bit,
A little bit warmongery.
uh, you know, you know, limitless resources combined with limitless production power combined with you know, unending expansion. People in power get pretty crazy overall. They just you can't be immortal. You can't turn yourself into a computer program, and you can't um, study God AI. But this goes fairly great, fairly decently, until we get to the Hyenian crisis, or the Hysinian?
I think it would be Hercinian.
Hercinian, okay. Um, so the
Or
Hercinian
Hercinian?
crisis, yes, sci-fi book writers, you like to make crazy words, we understand.
Yeah.
Okay, this is about 45,000 U. Um, what this is colonists on the Hyrian encounter an aggressive alien life. And if you're already aware with near the modern culture currently, they're bugs. They found the bugs, the Starship Trooper bugs, the Helldiver bugs, the Zerg, whatever you want to call them. They
Of course.
found bugs.
They're always out there somewhere.
They found a single planet of bugs. And
Or
unfortunately,
the Ender's Game bugs, for that matter.
God, they really is used everywhere, isn't it? Um, but two interesting things happen for this. The hyper militaristic colonial government with unlimited resources gets to go do a bug hunt.
Would you say that they have unlimited cosmic power?
No, that's raw. But they get to deploy their brand new state of the art military weapons, their next generation hard suits for deep space, or as everybody who piloted them and saw that wasn't an incompetent government worker called them, mechs. They got them giant robots fighting the bugs.
Of course.
This was popularized and pushed heavily by Union's largest state-owned corporation, General Massive Systems, which, give everything a crazy name. Then we get General Massive Systems. Why don't just go with super heavy systems? Like go the full mecha route on that one. But basically, this company produces these, sells in the Union, and Union Second Com genocides the bugs. Not any kind of engagement, not any kind of negotiation. They're just, let's stomp some bug.
Oh, one does not negotiate with bugs. This
True.
is known.
Yeah. On the other hand, you have to realize while the government might be hyper militaristic and all this and expansionist, most of the population lives in peace, gets to stay at home, have universal health care, and no living costs. So, they're...
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It's like the core Union worlds are amazing to live at. It's like, oh yeah, no, this is the good Star Trek future. Nice. And when their government announced we found alien life and killed all of it, combined with the general disconcert and mounting unpopular, how unpopular government was going. Besides the Piston One mass shotgun against the psychic people, the alien genocide, and the general discontent, Union decides to have itself a good old civil war.
Awesome. What could go wrong?
Well, I mean, they met one bit of opposition, and they thoroughly kicked it to the curb. Now, surprisingly enough, the revolution is televised and succeeds. Second Com is thoroughly dislodged, and the formation of Third Com, or Third Committee, is formed. Now, notice the major fallout from this is one of the people who was a part of Second Committee higher ups and a well-known industrial figure, John Cardigan Harrison, decided to go to planet Shamra. Here, I'll also send you this. I can post it up later. And found his own sanctuary planet for any of the Second Com members from the Purge from Third Com. And the way he gets around using this is founding Harrison Armory, the military industrial complex of what would be of Third Com. The reason he got away with this is Raw Shamrock happens to be the main manufacturing of General Massive Systems. So all of the wartime production, he kind of controlled that. And instead of trying to dislodge him, they decide to, just hash out a nice little piece. Like, okay, you guys gonna keep the warmongering down? Can we develop our?
Promise.
We're just going to develop the military industrial complex from now on.
It's just a little military industrial complex. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Um, yeah, that lasted all of 30 years. To be fair, though, Harrison Armory didn't try to overthrow Union. They tried to overthrow the trade baronies, or the new federation, as they were called previously. The Karakan trade baronies. The colony ship from the first mass colony ship sent out, and from there they kind of Union just like, all right, trade baronies, Harrison Armory, we'll ref the fight. Go at it. Third Com is a very non-committal, non-aggressive force. They like to be the peacekeepers and general expansionists. They don't like to be an oppressive government. They're the new republic. Yeah, oof. All right. On the upside from this, the baronies do become a full member of Union after that, but Harrison Armory has to pay reprimand to Union for doing the mass war. Union only demanding that Harrison stand trial and justice at Cradle. Harrison is a bit of a crafty SOB, though. So instead, while he did go willingly, he decided to clone himself, and now Harrison Armory is run by a clone of Harrison a little bit. Because remember the Anu I brought up earlier? Well, they kind of have a bit of a problem. They had a religious split. Some of them left for Union space, like, hey, we want to be citizens. We're sick of being part of these oppressive psychic rock worshippers. And settle in area called Boundary Garden. It's been was working out fairly good for Union until the magic space rock popped up on top of their planet and they all decided to go do a crusading. And with that, we are currently brought back up to modern times of Union. The year is 5016. God, those teen digits are just a little odd. Just a little odd. But overall, how does being caught up sound?
I'm not exactly sure the nature of the question. Like, do you mean that? Do I feel like I'm caught up, or do you mean like, um?
How does this world feel at this point? Because this is the current timeline
Oh,
at this.
gotcha. Um. So yeah, we've got quite a lot of history there, obviously. And it feels like we've gone through multiple iterations of like different kinds of sci-fi settings to get to the point that we're at, which is intriguing and means that they've got the lore set up hypothetically so that you could play in different parts of the timeline and have a different type of like campaign experience.
Unfortunately, this is a lot of just background stuff that sets up the basics on other factions and things going on in the universe. Most of their content is set in the current era. The biggest point, though, is the 3D printing and the mechs. It basically allows the players to set up their mechs any kind of way they want or design. This is a mech-based system. Yep. which we're gonna get some fun stuff next time because I believe then we should do a brief rundown of all the major players. We've kind of mentioned them as they popped up in history. There's been a few we haven't touched on yet, and a few that don't feel like they should be as big of players as they are, but are. I think we will wrap it here. I hope everyone has a good night, and I hope you have a good night too, Yuki.
All right. Have a good night. Bye bye, everybody. Matane.